the head of Golden Boy Promotions, a man who was one of the best boxers of our generation, and now is promoting an MMA show coming up here with Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. Oscar De La Hoya joins us on the hotline. Mr. De La Hoya, how are you?
What's up, my man? How are you? I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for making time for us. We really appreciate it. Oscar, I got to ask you this off the break because it's the thing that's been on my mind more so than the fight, at least for just today, is this back and forth feud you're having with Floyd on Instagram. Man, this has gone on for a while now, huh?
Yeah, right. It has, but I mean, look, it's your typical Floyd whenever he misses the limelight or he wants attention, he obviously picks on somebody who he can so he can get some PR. That's typical Floyd for you. But look, if he wants to play like that, I can bring out some dirty laundry.
Let me ask you about this. Is he mad? And by the way, congratulations on the Canelo DAZN deal. It's incredible. Is that what he's mad about?
Well, no. I mean, what it is with Floyd, it's like he cannot let anybody else have the limelight. Look, it's Canelo's moment. I guaranteed him a contract of close to $500 million in his next 10 to 11 fights, and with the zone. And what does he do? He has to wreck the party. I mean, that's your typical Floyd for you. It's like let Canelo have his time. Your time has passed. Let everybody else, every other young fighter, go out there and make history and ride off into the sunset. But your typical Floyd is one who needs that limelight on him all the time.
By the way, what did you make of his, very quickly, his whatever the hell that was in Japan, where he's fighting Tenshin Nasukawa and then he's not, and then he's tweeting pictures of MMA gloves? Do you think he's ever going to fight in anything like that ever?
No. I highly doubt it. I mean, again, it's to get PR. That's all it is. I think any boxer who even thinks about going into the octagon is crazy. I mean, MMA fighters are just on a whole different level inside the octagon, because I mean it's two different sports. I mean, the strikes that you can use, the kicks. I mean, my hat's off to any MMA fighter who steps inside the octagon. I mean, I've been watching MMA now for religiously for a while now, and it's crazy. It's I mean, my respects. It's amazing. The sport is just incredible, and so any boxer who even tries to step inside the octagon is delusional.
So we'll get to your card here in just a second. Last question about Floyd. We're going to move on. I want to talk about your event coming up here November 24th at the Forum. So no truce between you and Floyd? Like, this will just go on as long as it goes on?
Yeah, no, I mean, in my side, I already stopped. That's it. I'm over it. I'm on to what he's doing. But, there will be no second fight whatsoever. I'm sure he's trying to lure me into a second fight because that's the biggest fight he can make for his career, to make a lot of money. I mean, he had his chance. When I fought him back in 2007, and he took the decision in a very, very close fight, which could have gone either way. I actually had a rematch clause. Okay, I actually had a rematch clause in the contract for 1 whole year. So he had to fight me within that year. And what did he do? Your typical Floyd. He retired for a year and 1 day, and then came back and announced that he was coming back.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about this card here you have. It's going to be November 24th at the Forum in Inglewood. Chuck versus Tito 3. Few questions I want to unpack about this. How did you end up at the Forum? Why there?
Well, both guys are here from Southern California. From California, having Tito Ortiz be a staple of California was a no-brainer. Tickets are going extremely, extremely well. We're very satisfied with the response of the fans. And let me tell you one thing. I mean, I'm actually super excited because every time we do some kind of PR or go on TV, these guys, they literally can't stand each other. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, these guys do not like each other, and obviously you're going to see it November 24th inside the Octagon.
So Thanksgiving Day weekend, because it's obviously not Thanksgiving Day, it's that Saturday. How'd you end up on that weekend?
Well, for boxing, I've been promoting boxing for a long time now, and that weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, has always been a great weekend. People are home with their families, and on a Saturday night, hey, you're sitting around. If you're not doing anything, tune into Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. It's a perfect day to celebrate amongst family during the holidays and watch some great fights.
All right, so let's talk about this card more generally, if we can. It's got Chuck and Tito at the top. Now, there are some names on there that folks might recognize. Gleison Tibau's on it, Efrain Escudero's on it. But it's how did you build this card from your mind? It's built like an MMA card in the sense that you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights on the main card. But I'll be honest, it feels a little bit more like a boxing card with a big main event and then not necessarily the same level through the ranks.
Yeah, no, these are look, I'm obviously just getting into the MMA. This is my very first MMA event. Actually, my second one. I actually promoted with Affliction and with Donald Trump. I promoted Fedor back in the day. Fedor with it was Fedor versus somebody, but we promoted that event, and it was a sellout. It was a great event. I had a great time doing it, but Arlovsky, exactly, Arlovsky, who was a boxer himself at one point as well, trained by Freddie Roach. But this card from top to bottom is going to be action-packed. There's no doubt about it. I mean, every MMA card that I've ever seen is action-packed. I mean, these guys come to fight like there's no tomorrow. But Tito Ortiz's managers and handlers, along with Chuck Liddell's handlers, put this card together. Along with my matchmakers, they put this card together, and they promised me, hey, this is going to be an action-packed card, and that you don't want to miss.
Interestingly, so their respective managers played something of a matchmaking role in what names got picked and then where they were put on the card. That's interesting.
Exactly. It's very interesting.
Okay, how has it been promoting MMA versus boxing? And here's what I mean. How are the audiences different from your promoter's perspective?
I think it is. I think the audience is different, but there's so much opportunity and synergies. I mean, look, it's no different promoting a boxing card. I mean, look, we do have more fights on this card here. I believe there's 16 fights. In boxing, we do a maximum of maybe 8. But it's relatively the same. I strongly feel that, look, anything within the combative world is promoted the same. And I strongly feel that, I mean, MMA is only growing. The fighters are getting better and they're faster. They're training smarter. And it really is a lot of fun promoting this card with the likes of Tito and Chuck, because they know how to sell it. I mean, they know how to promote. They genuinely don't like each other, and it's been relatively a smooth ride, a fun ride, and I can't wait for the 24th.
By the way, real quickly, what was it like working with Donald Trump? I mean, whatever one's impressions of him today on that project, what was that like?
No, it was actually fun working with him. I mean, he's a character. That's exactly what he is. He knows how to sell his name. And so I remember back, I think it was like maybe 10 years ago when we promoted this card with with affliction. And it was actually a lot of fun. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He's a very, he's brilliant, savvy. He's a businessman, so he knows how to sell. And so it was actually a pleasure to work with him.
Interesting. Okay, the price point, $49.99. How did you come to that one?
Yeah, we figured. Look, we figured. I mean, whoever. I mean, we've been staging fights at a price point of around lately at around $80, 75, 69, and we said, look, let's give the fans a break here. Let's give the fans a break and not charge those crazy numbers. So we came up with the with that price point, which I think is perfect. You're going to be able to watch some great fights with the headliner being a terrific trilogy, which I strongly feel that I mean this fight can obviously go either way. I mean, Tito Ortiz looks in phenomenal shape, and Chuck Liddell, I mean, he's like, I call him Chucky because he just keeps on coming, man. This guy is just in incredible shape. So I think that price point is perfect. I think people are responding very well. The indications are that it's going to do some great numbers. But most importantly, the message I want to send here is that Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, this trilogy with this fight taking place, they're going to make the most money they've ever made in their entire career. It's incredible. I'm actually mind blown by that, because I would have thought that Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell, with two names like that, they would have made a lot more money in their careers. But this time around, look, I was a fighter myself. I'm a promoter now. I'm just trying to help out these fighters.
So let's talk about that real quickly. Tito, and I don't know if this was just fight promotion, but he told some media outlet, it might have been MMA Junkie, that the overwhelming, if not exclusive amount of his purse is going to be from pay-per-view sales. Is that true?
Absolutely. Look, I'm a promoter that loves to share all revenues, and whatever revenue's coming in, we're going to share it. It's not about the promoter. It's about the fighters, and that's exactly why, for instance, Golden Boy Promotions has been very successful, is because we treat our fighters the way they should be treated. I mean, the fighters are the ones who make these events happen, and so this is a great indication that look, I mean, the fact that we're letting Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell participate in the pay-per-view revenues from top to bottom. I mean, they're going to be able to make tons of money, the best purse they've ever made in their careers.
Chuck Liddell, interestingly, as a bit of a note here, Oscar, and I think you already know this, he's older than you. Now, this fight is interesting because it's taking place in California, which, in terms of athletic commissions, has the most rigorous standards. So in that sense, you're not commission shopping, you're not going to Texas or something like that. But let me just ask, man, is there you're 47, I believe you're 47.
45.
You were at 45, even more so, but still pretty young for a guy. And you were a high level athlete. There's no small part of you that wonders if this is a good idea for Chuck.
No, it actually doesn't. I strongly feel like, for instance, with me, I mean, right now, if I train a couple months, 3 months, I can go 10 rounds. I can go in there with the best. That would be no problem. But I would have to be disciplined and dedicated and just focus on 1,000%, and it would be no problem. I think. Look, why limit yourself? To age. I think that if an athlete takes care of himself, if an athlete is disciplined, okay, enough to where he's going to take care of himself 24/7, just like Bernard Hopkins, okay, I believe is the oldest champion in the history of the sport at 51 years old. Yeah. Just like George Foreman. Look at Floyd Mayweather himself. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, is always training. If you do the right things in this sport, I think you can last till you're 50 if you want. It's just a matter of taking care of your body and your mind.
Let me ask you about this Canelo and DAZN deal, because it's incredibly interesting. You know what's amazing, Oscar, is when I first started covering MMA, well over a decade ago, MMA and boxing were very separate, and now their fates are much more intertwined. Now, Canelo's deal is very different than what's happening for a lot of other people. He's got a nice thing going. Are you not so much about Canelo? Are you at all worried about the way in which combat sports is moving to streaming? And here's the way I'm framing the question. As a consumer of it, both boxing and MMA, I love it. ESPN Plus, DAZN, whatever it may be. At the same time, though, I just wonder, is a lot of this content, Canelo notwithstanding, just going to get buried under everything else? What is your feeling about combat sports as it moves into the age of streaming?
Well, yeah, I mean, as it moves into the age of streaming, it can be very dangerous for a fighter who's not known, for the fighter who the fan doesn't recognize. You can get buried amongst all these different platforms, and I strongly feel that we still need linear TV in order to identify these young fighters, in order to build these young fighters and build them into household names. You still need that linear TV, but these deals are incredible. What's taking place with ESPN Plus, with DAZN. I mean, somebody like Canelo, who is probably the biggest star globally in boxing, is going to be okay on DAZN's platform, because Canelo moves the needle. DAZN forked over tons of money because they know that Canelo can bring in thousands and hundreds of thousands of subscribers for them, which means big business for DAZN. So, but I agree with you. I think we still need linear TV, but we are moving towards the digital platform, and I think that's where it's heading. And I think, especially with the younger generation, not wanting to be told what to watch, where to watch, when to watch it, they want to watch it on their cell phones. They want to watch it on their tablets. But I think that Canelo Alvarez is a guy who can fight anywhere he wants to, and people will watch.
I mean, I'm an MMA fan, but I'm a boxing fan too. Just having Canelo, Anthony Joshua together on DAZN pays for it, as far as I'm concerned. The fact you get everything else is amazing. Last question for you, Oscar, and I really appreciate your time. Do you think an MMA fighter will ever go independent and get some kind of deal on DAZN? I'm not saying at the level that Canelo did, but maybe something like that.
Well, you never know. You never know. I mean, that's the beauty of being free agents. I mean, when if you have somebody behind you who is looking out for your best interest individually, absolutely, why not? I mean, look, there's guys out there who are phenomenal fighters that can have those types of deals. I mean, look, you take a look at Conor McGregor, or you take a look at these fighters who are big household names. I mean, imagine if Conor McGregor was a independent contractor, he can easily get a deal like that on the DAZN or an ESPN Plus. But obviously, look, they're with UFC, and UFC just works differently.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing it November 24th at the Forum in Inglewood, California. It's going to be Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3, and it's going to be a Golden Boy promotion. Oscar, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to the 24th.
You got it. Thanks, buddy, and happy Memorial Day, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.